Good afternoon, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 game in my tier 8 Ognevoi. This was a game or a ship that I saw requested on the forums. Figured I'd see if I could help somebody out just by, posting this ship up. It's a difficult ship to play. Um, the matchmaking, you're gonna face this a lot, and I wanted to include this game. Not because of how much damage I do. I don't do all that much damage, but I am very productive for my team, and I'm basically squared off against some of the most dangerous destroyers in the game towards, other destroyers. I'm facing a Kaba and a Haragumo most of the game. And it's how I approach it is really just good smart destroyer play, and it lets you, get away with stuff that you otherwise shouldn't. So going over the matchmaking, there's not a lot of radar, thank God. Um, we're looking at a Salem, minor radar threat. Neptune, maybe, but they're almost always smoke. Um, but I mean, the real threats are Gearing, Haragumo, Kaba, and the Low Yang. Low Yang with its smoke and hydro combo. Gearing just because it outspots us, outguns us. It's just across the board a superior general purpose destroyer. Difference between tier 8 and tier 10 right there in a nutshell. Haragumo, I don't need to say anything more. I mean, we have almost identical uh, concealment ranges, and the gun power between the two it's very meme worthy. Kaba in general, if you're spotted around a Kaba, you're gonna get beat up. So I am pretty much I'm low tier DD. So what I want to do, I don't want to go out of my way, pick and fight solo, that kind of thing. So what my plan is, Shima here's got a really good concealment um, rating, or should, and I'm gonna go with him, and we're just going to go, either contest, cap, or delay C, and just try to be useful for the team. Try not to die early. That's the critical thing. I mean, this game, you know, just a few seconds away from death if you make a misplay, and that's just being a tier 8 DD in a tier 10 match when you're against some of the destroyers. And I mean, I didn't even mention, Neptune can smoke up on the cap. There's a Neptune I'm going to be dealing with. There's a Zal floating around out there. Ships that can really get in close to the cap and really punish any spotted destroyers. So this is pretty nasty matchmaking. The only thing that is really missing is a bunch of radar, and that would make it the absolute worst matchmaking. So Kaba's spotted. This was an important spot because if this guy can actually get into this position behind the island, he can actually contest and cap this. So getting that early spot, forcing that guy back was it's a really nice move. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm just being cheeky. Um, I'm going to push up here, and I'm actually going to step in the cap, and I see that the cap's contested, so I know almost assuredly it's going to be one of the guys that I don't want to face here. So I'm just right on the edge of the cap. Me and Haragumo, again, we spot each other at the same, and I immediately smoke. Okay, I'm going to pause it there. I smoke up, but I don't just want to smoke up. I pop my speed boost, and the reason why I pop my speed boost, I want to drop off as quickly as possible. So popping my speed boost will decrease my speed even faster than just normal engine deceleration when you go into reverse. Further, I don't want to sit still because this guy fires fast enough that you've seen me do it in dozens of videos where I'm just shooting at my shell hits. I need to move my ship out of, you know, where I'm last seen, because that's where he's going to blind shoot me at. And if you watch, he's doing that right now. So I'm turning in. So now he's shooting higher than me. And now that I'm off, I'm gonna take the time and I'm gonna start to try to even up. And I mean, say what you will about Ognevoi guns, you don't have a lot of them. You don't have, the greatest DPM, but they are pretty consistent at hitting. So I'm looking right now, seeing what I can torp. Uh, Ognevoi it's really a hybrid. Now I make a misplay here. I thought this guy was going to continue his smoke out this way, continue his turn. He didn't. He just smoked right out here, and that was it. So, um, that second set of torps was a waste. If I would have launched, right at his smoke screen, I probably would have landed a torp hit right there. So, I've got the cap. I'm not gonna hang around. Um, it was already pretty cheeky capping that. My Shima looks like he's trying to push up, and I just want to get that guy safe. I need that guy to play safe, and pushing up there right into a Haragumo, into a Kaba, that's dangerous. That Haragumo being smoked up with torps, nearby. That guy leaves smoke, spots that Shima, and that Shima's instantly gonna get hammered. I pick up a torp hit on the key. No flooding though, and I'm spotting the Kaba pushing up, trying to tell my Turpits, dude, you don't want none of that. You're all alone right now. Uh, Now what I'm doing here, I'm just sending some, area denial torps out right now, just trying to cut off anything that's trying to push into this end of the cap. And Ognevoi, you do have slower torpedoes, but that's also offset by the fact that they are fairly good. They've got pretty good concealment. They hit, decently hard. They reload reasonably fast, and you're sending, 5 torps per rack. If you look, I mean, that's pretty good dispersion on your torps. It's not like your IJN torps where they love to get all squirrely and stack up, leave a bunch of holes. And here this is one of the other things I talk about. If you notice, this is a 14-point captain, so this is, in my opinion, if you're grinding the line, you should have, probably a 15 or 16-point captain by now. So again, this is a weaker captain than I would expect at tier 8. But one of the things that I picked was AFT. And I'm stretching that range out there, and I'm using this just to try to take some cheeky shots. This is, still Russian destroyer, strategy, except instead of, blinding speed that you typically have with your Russian boats, you're going to use your maneuverability. You're going to actually dodge more like an IJN DD than you will a Russian. Now right here I see the Haragumo. I'm popping speed boost. I want to try to get some resets on this Kaba. And this is one of the things that I mean by good destroyer play. This Kaba, I'm coming around the island. This guy was obviously spotted by the Shima. So I'm just going to smoke up here, and I'm just going to try to chunk this guy as much as I can. I'm getting resets at the same time. 1200 a shot. It's not bad. Dispersion fucks me there. But again, just pushing that guy around, getting what damage that I can. I can't take that guy in a straight 1v1, but I've gotta, try to grab what I can. For some reason, ship didn't lock on there. And again, just general harassment. If one of those DDs pops up, that's really what I'm interested in killing. Neptune torps. And I spot the Haragumo right in my face, and I thought about shooting the guy for a minute, but nope. I've got torps. And that's just a very smart move. Even you will get, more torp reloads than a Haragumo will get smoke. It is incredibly important when you face that destroyer on the enemy team that you torp his smoke. Every time he smokes up to farm your team, you can't rely that your team's going to be able to drop off in concealment like they are right now for me. But you need to get out there and deny that vision, or excuse me, deny that smoke. You torp it, you do whatever you can, because torps are a very real risk for that ship. And that guy, he was just sitting there waiting for somebody to get spotted. And they've got two gunboat DDs that can't really scout on this flank. And this is me and the Shima starting to unravel that, because we're using our spotting advantage. They've got to make some, kind of dangerous plays. Smoking up like that, obviously they knew I was there. I was shooting out of that smoke. But, I mean, his battleships have pulled off to B-cap. The cruisers are kiting back. And it's that situation where, what's that Haragumo going to do? He's going to try to hold, the terrain the best he can. The only way he can do that really is smoking up, and that just, got him torped. So here, more open water gunboating. Again, just playing safe. Okay, Shima's up there, Kaba can't be anywhere around in here. So, I've got, the ability to take those shots with very little risk to myself. And it's that kind of thing that, lets you know what you can do, what you can't do. And this game's actually looking pretty good here. We've got our Missouri pushing up. That Kaba is, he's pushing in again. This guy's had a really hard time trying to deal with any of us DDs, because me and the Shima, we've played smart. We haven't, put ourselves in a position where he could just farm us. He didn't have radar that could really, counter spot us. Our Missouri picks up a clutch kill on that Neptune. And, I mean, our Shima here, not sure about this play, but I can't really say anything about it. They're down to only 3 ships on the enemy team. And, I'm saying get back, but pretty much I'm going to do the same thing. And it's because I noticed right after I sent it, okay, they're only down to 3 ships. We've got this one in the bag. I'm going to go ahead and try to, pad my stats a little more on the ship. So I'm gonna push up here. You notice I've got AP loaded. I was expecting a broadside shot, and instead this guy, he turns further out, kiting away. The reason why I'm shooting AP is this section of the ship right here is a 50 millimeter plate, as well as this area of the ship is a 50 millimeter plate. Um, my HE will shatter on it. So I have to, if I'm using HE, either hit the bow section before the guns, hit the stern, which is relatively low in the water, or try to get lucky and hit between the two plates. And, you know, you're going to see how I try to deal with that in a minute. I do pick up a pin there, but you can see my AP is bouncing. I switched to HE, and I basically hit superstructure there, got a fire on him. Now, my thinking was when I looked at this really quick, I was coming in here for a torp run, and I thought I saw the Kaba doing the right thing, which was turning out in this scenario. So I took and I let him out with the second set of torps, and it left a little gap, and he was able to wiggle through there. Now, what I want to do here, I want to keep this guy. Obviously, he's got more gun power than me. I'm gonna die here. How do I get the most amount of damage out of this situation? And the answer to that is he's only has half his DPM right now. My position, I have, you know, access to all of my guns. Now what I want to do is accelerate and drive, you know, this way. Force him to, if he wants to bring his back guns back into the fight, he needs to turn harder and harder to try to get his guns in the fight. It's going to take him a few more seconds to get those back guns in the fight if I keep, you know, pushing hard in this direction. Um, you know, that can buy me a little bit of extra time, but I mean, at this point, you know, this is kind of a losing proposition. But the other thing, making sure that my HE's hitting where it counts. He gets lucky, breaks the gun there. I blow my repair, and if you look, I start taking a lead, and I'm just trying to hit that bow. And you can see when I hit the plate, I'm getting the shatters. He gets lucky, knocks out another gun, and you know, it's c'est la vie. But I basically have worked him down to 2,700, which it's okay. I mean, I might have been able to do a little better if I switched AP in there, but I would have lost a little bit of time on my reload when I made the switch. And again, all he would have to do is just angle in. But I mean, this is a pretty solid performance in the face of this kind of matchmaking. You know, the ideal matchmaking for this ship. You know, lots of battleships. Um, your torps are pretty good, and I mean the nice thing with AFT, you know, you can smoke up and just blast anything within a 14-kilometer range, and you're pretty solid. Um, it's why if I was to like max build this boat, I would I would consider uh, instead of maybe basic firing training like I'm running here, maybe do superintendent and just turn it into you know, a big smoke firing DD and just farm people out. Now, one thing I just want to pause it here to note, the damage that I took over the course of the battle, Kaba, over the course of the game, I actually inflicted more damage on the Kaba than he did to me. And that was just a combination of me chipping at that guy multiple times during the game, um, adds up. That was a decent amount of pressure on that combo over the course of the game, especially coming from a tier 8 DD. The Haragumo, he pretty much was devastated by me because just that torpid, the torpids. Um, that's one tier 10 DD out of the fight, and another one just pretty much got harassed all around that cap. Anytime he came into the cap, he was getting constantly pushed back, or I would smoke up and shoot him, or shoot him as ducking into cover or something like that. Just being sneaky about it, and that's just good, solid destroyer play. You don't want to accept that fight, one on one that you can't win. The only reason I did it at the end was the game was for sure won. Why not get another couple 3-4,000 HP off a tier 10 DD, which is really going to help um, my experience, which will help me move up to um, the next ship. And I personally I think that's the smart way to go about it. Don't actually start giving up your ship until 100% that game's won. So, just to sum up Ognevoi, um, it's primarily I call it a hybrid. I would say it's, you know, I would say it's about 50-50. 50% torpedo damage, 50% gun damage. You can kind of see that in, how the damage stacks up. Here I didn't really get to shoot at battleships or anything like that a lot to really um, boost up the fire damage. Um, you know, if you flood things with torps, these guns are pretty good with starting fires. You can really start racking up a lot of damage um, with dots, and using something like AFT gives you the reach to get out there. Or you can drop AFT, run Superintendent, Basic Firing Training Survivability Expert, be pretty tanky, and just within your 12-kilometer base range work people over. And that can work too. I'm just using AFT mainly for the memes, just um, seeing if I can actually gunboat in this ship right now. And from what I've seen, you can from beyond 12 kilometers. You start to become pretty hard to hit if you really are dodging. So anyway, Ognevoi, I hope you guys enjoyed the game. Hope this is something that maybe helps somebody. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will talk to you guys later.